Afternoon, everyone. I'm cooking a very special dish today. It reminds me of my childhood. When I was a kid, we had a family of 7, and usually at the end of the month, when my mum didn't have many rupees left in the pocket, she used to cook this very homely dish for us. I think it is her own recipe. She put all the things together and came up with something which to us was absolutely delicious. Even now, when I eat it, it reminds me of my childhood when I was very young. And my daughters, when they come back from university, they always ask for this dish, so I presume they like it as well. So my mum never named the dish, but I call it chicken, potato, and noodle broth. You can name it whatever you want. So I'm just going to take you through the ingredients first. So to start off with the ingredients, we have got 1 breast of chicken. You can use chicken with bones in it if you want to. In the end, all you have to do is take the bones out and use the meat of the chicken. I've got 2 little tomatoes here, which I'm going to take the skin off. In a second, I've got chili flakes. You can just use dry chili and crush it into chili flakes. I got cooking oil, the sunflower oil. I have got tomato ketchup, which is Heinz, which is good quality tomato ketchup. I'm using low sodium salt. You can use just normal salt if you want to. I've got peppercorns in a mill, so I'm going to crush it and use just the pepper powder from it. I've got 3 large potatoes which are peeled, and I'm going to chop them into small cubes, 1 small onion, and 1 green chili, which is mild to medium hot. And last but not the least, I have got a handful of spaghetti. So to start things going, first thing I'm going to do is put some hot water into my tomatoes and cover it up. So by the time other things are cooking, the tomatoes will be easy to peel off. The next thing I'm going to do is get the spaghetti going. So I'm going to just break it into 2, easy to fit into the pot, and hot water in there for my stove on, and put this for cooking until the spaghetti is cooked. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the onion into rough pieces and going to put this in this pot, and I'm just going to use a tablespoon of cooking oil and just gently saute my onions until they're translucent. So spaghetti is cooking away. My onions are nice and white and translucent, not very brown at all. And I'm going to just seal the chicken on each side in the oil just for a couple of minutes, a minute on each side. I've chopped the potatoes into little cubes, as you can see there. Some are bigger than others. So I've sealed the chicken on each side for a minute each. Just going to put some salt, a teaspoon of salt. If you're using normal salt, just reduce the amount of salt, because this low sodium salt is not as salty or as sour as normal salt. And I'm going to put a good chunk of pepper in there. If you have ground pepper, just use ground pepper, a fair bit of it, maybe half a teaspoon. I'm going to put some water in it, about 750 ml of water, which I've already put in, and it's hot water. And I'm going to let this simmer for about 20-25 minutes until the chicken is cooked, maybe a bit less. So I'm going to put this on the side here, cover it up with the lid, let the chicken cook, and we'll come back to it in a minute. So in the third pot, it's a slightly larger pot, I'm going to put all my potatoes in. I'm going to slice my chili in the middle, just slice it. If you got a hot one, I suggest take some of the seeds out or all the seeds out, depending on how hot or mild you like. This is just a mild chili, so I'm just going to chop it into smaller pieces. So this goes in there. Next thing I'm going to do is the tomatoes. I've taken the skin off and I've chopped them into smaller cubes, and they go in there. Now, next important thing I'm going to do, obviously put some salt back in there, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, because there's already salt in the soup. Important thing, chili flake, this is what's going to give heat to it, so take it according to your taste, how much heat you like. So I'm taking about maybe half a teaspoon of chili flakes, put them in there. And most important ingredient is the tomato ketchup. I'm going to put big dollop of tomato ketchup, maybe about almost 3 tablespoonfuls of tomato ketchup in there. And that's what's going to give you wonderful, deep, tangy taste to it. The chicken stock cube that I have, I'm going to take only half of it. If I was cooking for 4 people, I'd probably use the whole stock. If I'm only cooking for 2 people, then only half a stock will be fine. It becomes too strong otherwise. And I'll put this into my chicken, which is already cooking. My chicken been cooking for about 6-7 minutes now. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes and then we will complete our cooking. In the meantime, my spaghetti is cooked. So my chicken been cooking for about 20 minutes in total, and I think that's enough for the chicken because it's going to cook a little bit more in the main pot. So I'm going to drain all the water, which is the soup, from the chicken. I got a little sieve in there. If you don't have a pot like this, just use a sieve and sieve the water through. We don't want the onions in it. And this is what's going to cook our main dish. So that's all in there. I'm going to take the chicken out in a minute and use it. Let me switch this pot on. So this will keep cooking. I'm going to take the chicken out of the pot. And I'm going to cut the chicken into very small pieces. So I've cut the chicken into very small pieces, little cubes that goes in there as well. You can see the lovely red color in the sauce. Just going to give it a shake. And I'm going to let this cook. Going to cover it with a lid. Let this cook for 15-20 minutes until the potatoes are done. Chicken is well cooked, so don't have to worry about the chicken. Just want to make sure the potatoes are nice and soft, but not too mushy. So the broth been cooking for about 20-25 minutes. The potatoes should be done by now. So let's have a look. It's lovely color. I think potatoes are done. Just remember, if you are using a chicken with bones in it, you don't need a chicken stock cube. If you are using chicken without bone, then only I use a chicken stock cube because the bones make such a nice sauce, nice soup themselves. Let's try some. See how hot it is and what the flavor is like. Just to complete my dish, I'm just going to put some spaghetti on top, just for myself. And the rest of the spaghetti I'm going to put into the dish and let it cook for another 5 minutes so the flavor is even. Okay, let's try this, see what it tastes like. The potato is quite hot. Oh, nice. It is quite warm, both from the heat point of view, but also from because it just come off the stove, so it's quite hot as well. But it is quite nice. Just the right amount of chili for me anyway, and salt is fine. And the tanginess of the tomato ketchup, because it's cooked, so it's quite nice and tangy. Really tastes nice. I hope you can try this dish. Really reminds me of my childhood and my home. Do try it and see what you think it's like. Very warming dish, especially in the winter. And if you do like it, then please do give us a thumbs up, and I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching.